What's good, YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Today we bring you a retro video as we review the first video that came onto this channel back before the NFL season even begun. As I predicted every team's predictions and the record. And I know a lot of teams, and I know Mo knows that a lot of teams did way better or way worse than we predicted. But today we're going to be reviewing them and see how crazy they are.
Yeah, it was a very unpredictable season with COVID, so there was many shockers this year. So this is going to be very interesting.
Stay tuned.
Without further ado, let's get started.
All right, at number 32, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, 2019 they went 2-14. This year,
obviously they had the first pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I predicted 4-12, and that's actually basically the exact same record.
Basically spot on. They just tied one game with the Eagles.
Yeah.
So you got the 4 wins correct, though. Good job.
What do you think about Joe Burrow this year?
He was playing very good, and I honestly thought they had a chance to go like 6-10, maybe even 7-9. But with him getting injured, they had a mess like with quarterbacks, but I think he has potential.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, definitely a big turnaround from their last season. I mean, even if it was only 2-win difference, it's still a big turnaround with the new rookie quarterback. All right, number 31, the Washington football team. We didn't know that this team was going to change last year.
Like I said, unpredictable.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Who would have thought that they came on top in the NFC East and went to the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it was sad for me to see them win over the Giants, but they won 7-9. The NFC East was obviously very bad this year, but you weren't exactly close. Their defense was very good. I just think their offense needs some improvement at quarterback, but
yeah,
their defense was really good. That D-line was great.
I like Alex Smith. I think he has potential. Although he is very injury prone, I think that for the time being, he can do good things in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, he's 36. They need to find a franchise quarterback either this year or maybe even next year. But yep, he's not the future.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 30, the Detroit Lions.
Let's see what they want. And
so this is pretty spot on as well.
Yeah, you thought they'd get a tie.
What?
You thought they'd get a tie, but yeah, you were pretty much spot on.
They seem like the team that every single year gets the tie, but this year they didn't. Still pretty spot on though.
Yeah, 5-11. I mean, I saw them. They don't seem like a horrible team. Their defense was horrible this year. If they can improve their defense, I think they have potential.
Yeah, and they're in a hard division, so
yeah, very hard division.
Every single year they have to be basically the best team in the NFL if they want to make the playoffs.
Yep.
So, moving on to number 29, the New York Giants.
Ooh, very close.
Pretty spot on.
Yeah, I mean, their defense got an improvement. I was not happy with the offense, but I think the defense really had an improvement from last year, it was worse last year, and this year I would say it was around between 10th or 13th in the league, which is pretty good.
And 7-10 and a chance to make the playoffs. It's not a bad season. It was a quick turnaround from a 4-12 season we see last year.
Yeah, definitely some improvement there.
Moving on, we have the Miami Dolphins.
This was not a good one.
This was not a good prediction at all. Tua Tagovailoa, though.
And Fitzmagic.
He came in clutch.
Yeah. I mean 10-6. How did they not make the playoffs? Like, you have the Bears, who I know had the higher seed in the NFC because the NFC was a little bit worse than the AFC. But the Dolphins, they deserve to be in the playoffs after a 10-6.
10-6. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Wow. It's super sad to see that Tua could possibly leave next year and get traded away. But I think, if they could get Deshaun Watson, I think that could be a really good team.
Yeah, if they draft Devontae Smith third and get Deshaun Watson, I really think they could compete for that division. They might compete with the Bills in that division.
Yep.
All right.
Moving on, Los Angeles Chargers. This one,
Now hold up, there's a bug. Why'd you say 6-12? There's only. I mean, they could have gone 6-10 if you put 6 wins.
Oh yeah, I think I meant 6-10. Yeah, I meant 6-10.
Okay,
So
I mean that's close. 7-9.
it is 7-9, 6-10. I mean, yeah, right about there.
Justin Herbert really impressed me this season, but
He did. He was probably one of the best rookie quarterbacks we've seen in a long, long time.
yeah. But the defense, they didn't have Derwin James, which was a big piece of that defense. So I think they'll have a comeback season next year for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Number 26, the Carolina Panthers. Now, I underpredicted them.
11. But to be fair, at the beginning of the year, they lost Luke Kuechly, Greg Olsen, Cam Newton. They lost pretty much their whole team.
And that's why I thought that they would do worse than last year, because they lost their own team. But I mean, they did the same thing as the year previous. So,
yeah, and even McCaffrey was out too the whole year, so that's pretty impressive.
yeah, their wide receiver core is pretty spot on. I mean,
Yeah,
they have good receivers, I think.
yeah, they do. Definitely some potential next year.
Yep. Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, I think they should have made it in the playoffs over the Bears, but I know they lost that last game. But the Cardinals they had such a good team.
They were in the
what a
running.
season.
They were in the run in mid-season, but I mean, they started going downhill end of the season. They started getting lots of losses, and I mean, for the team that's as good as them, I would not think that they would have gone 8-8. And I mean, when I was making these predictions, I didn't think that Kyler Murray would have had as good of a season as he did this year.
Yeah, it was a shocker. It was definitely a shocker, but
Definitely
he has potential. He's a franchise quarterback for him. I definitely agree with that.
Definitely a step up from his rookie year.
Yep, totally.
Number 24, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh,
No one would have thought that this team would have been the worst team in the NFL this year.
And we thought the Jets were going to go 0-16. Everyone was rooting for it and everything, but no. They started winning at the end. But yeah.
15.
I think their main issue was quarterback. I mean, Gardner Minshew didn't play good. Then they had to replace him with Mike Glennon and Jake Luton. It was a mess. So maybe Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I wouldn't say they have playoff. I don't think they'll make the playoffs next year, but I think they'll do much better than 115.
I think that Trevor Lawrence could have the same potential that Justin Herbert could have. That's just my prediction. I think they could have a definite bounce back season next year, possibly go 6-10 or 5-11, but definitely better than 1-15, I think.
I agree.
Moving on, Cleveland Browns.
Oh, wow.
Who would have thought that the Cleveland Browns... What happened with Baker Mayfield? I almost said Joe Burrow there, but what happened with Baker Mayfield?
So, I mean, I could tell with the first 5 games, Baker Mayfield's the same player he was last year. But I don't know. After that, he started performing. I don't know what happened, but he just started performing very, very good and started winning games. And I mean, Myles Garrett also had an amazing season again this year. The defense.
Their running game.
Their running game. Totally a big factor.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Possibly the best running back core in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the Steelers are stuck with James Conner and Benny Snell Jr. And you have 3 hours away in Cleveland, 2 of possibly, I mean, for a backup quarterback, for a backup running back, Kareem Hunt. I don't think there's a backup running back in the NFL that shares as many snaps with the starter as.
I totally agree. They're just an all around pretty good, diverse team.
Good fantasy player too.
Yeah.
Number 22, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
So, I mean, I definitely thought that after last year with Tom Brady going downhill, he wasn't going to do as good as they did this year.
So I had so much confidence in Tom Brady, and that's because in New England, there really wasn't a star receiver. Julian Edelman was good, but I don't think he was a stud star receiver. I mean, they had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and later on got back Antonio Brown, who recently has been performing amazing. He's been getting the most targets, and it's that's the best, in my opinion, it's the best receiver core in the NFL. That's just an insane receiver core.
I also think they're somewhere in the boat with Cleveland too. Their running game, though.
Ronald Jones and Fournette, yeah.
sharing snaps with Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. I mean,
they also had the best rush defense in the league. I mean, their defense, it's so underrated. Not a lot of people talk about it, but they really did have the best rush defense. And I mean, they shut down the Packers. I mean, who've had the best offensive season this year. So they definitely have potential. Maybe I don't want to say they'll make the Super Bowl, but they definitely have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, the NFC, I don't really agree with that there, but I mean, the NFC is a hard division. They got to go through the Packers, maybe the Saints. I mean,
yeah, but they have potential. That's all I'm saying.
Moving on, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Is that spot on, or is that?
Well, so the
That's
Raiders
spot on.
Spot on, 8-8. I mean, Derek Carr going out in the last couple of games. Their backup. Who is their backup quarterback?
Mariota, dude, he played amazing.
Marcus Mariota. I mean, he's like a mini Lamar Jackson there with the running game.
I honestly think he should start because he has good speed. Like he doesn't seem fast, but he's his legs go far. Like they extend far. He can go fast.
Yeah.
And Darren Waller, what a year.
What a year for Darren Waller and the Raiders. I mean, offense in general. I mean, they wouldn't be winning games without a team that scores as many points.
Yep.
I mean, they have 434 points, total on the season. I mean, that's crazy. I mean,
that's crazy for an 8-8 team. You'd think they do better, but I guess the defense didn't show up.
I mean, that's up there with the Chiefs and the Titans, and
Yeah.
Moving on at number 20, we got the New York Jets.
All right. Yeah, that was off.
That was off. I mean,
they lost Le'Veon Bell midseason. Sam Darnold, we all thought he would have a way better season, but he didn't really have a better season. There really wasn't any standout player on that team. I mean, even Jamal Adams left. No. So just no talent on that team.
I mean, Frank Gore is probably their only veteran good player on that team.
Yeah, and he's also old.
Not much to say about the Jets, yeah.
Yeah.
Indianapolis Colts. I mean, man, what a season from them.
And they almost beat the Bills. Like it was like a 3-point game. It was very close.
Yeah, they had a chance. Phillip Rivers came in clutch with them. I mean,
he's very good, yeah. And their defense, that was a shocker.
Yeah.
Defense was amazing, yeah.
Defense, yes. Outstanding. I mean, they're up there on the top defenses.
Yeah, for sure.
Denver Broncos, 8-8.
Yeah, I think it's time for them to get a new quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, AFC West came in last, but
it's a hard division.
It is a hard division.
Yeah, and I think it's time to move on from Drew Lock. He hasn't shown up.
Yeah. What pick do they have this year in the draft?
Probably like 9th or something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be up there, but hopefully they can draft something because they honestly at this point they need anyone they can get.
Yeah. Yep.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly would have put them up there considering their offense. I mean, they had Julio and Calvin Ridley, Julio was out for most of the season, but I think you were spot on. No, you were 1 game off, but I mean. 1 game off.
I mean, this team looked good coming into the season, but.
They did. They were competing with everyone. They were scoring like 40 points a game.
I know. I mean, they lost the last 5 games of the season, and that's not what you can do as a team. I mean, there's a big difference between 5-6 and 5-11.
And I think it's time also to move on from Matt Ryan. He's getting old, not showing up. You need a franchise quarterback soon.
That's the case with a lot of these teams. I mean,
yeah, and it's gonna be a hassle in the draft because there's limited quarterbacks this year, including
the next team up, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that they would have started 11-0?
Yeah, and then they looked so good going in. Then the last maybe 5 or 4 games, you could agree they took a decline. I mean, they lost to the Bengals, which is very tough, and obviously
offense was going downhill.
The defense was stacked until they lost Bud Dupree, who I can tell they had a big impact after that, and a shocking loss to the Browns in the first round. Oh, I mean, that was just shocking.
Yeah. Dallas Cowboys, 10-6.
I think you would have been right if Dak did not get hurt, but unfortunately, they did go 6-10, which is flipped around of the losses and wins in your record. But
I mean,
they would have definitely done better with Dak.
Yes, I mean you can't have a good season if you're relying on practice squad quarterbacks to take you.
At the beginning of the year, Dak was looking like going to be the best quarterback. Like even in fantasy managers know that he was doing amazing at the beginning of the year, and then he got a horrific injury.
Ben DiNucci. Number 14, the Chicago Bears.
Very close. 8-8, another 8-8 season. Made the playoffs, but they got shut out by the Saints.
Yep. Not much to say about them, really.
Not much. I mean, David Montgomery had a great season. I know because of it in fantasy. The last 4 weeks got like 20-plus points every week.
If you look at Mitch Trubisky, though, I would not think that this team would have made the playoffs. Mitch Trubisky did not have a very good season.
I see him as an average quarterback. I mean, he's not bad, but he's not a franchise quarterback.
I don't think he has much more time left in Chicago. Sadly.
Yeah, sadly.
Tennessee Titans, 11-5.
Spot on. Derrick Henry, a 2,000-yard season, 7th player in history to do that. I mean, Ryan Tannehill showed up this year. Their defense is like, it's known as one of the worst defenses to make the playoffs and win a division, but their offense was just good enough to make them there. And I mean, that's good enough for them.
Yep. Philadelphia Eagles.
It was a very messed up season. There's a lot of controversy with Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz, but they did not have a good season. I didn't think they were going to have a good season either. But yeah, 4-11-1.
Yeah, that's why I predicted them just to be the same. I mean, not predicting that Carson Wentz would have got his starting spot taken away.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Rams.
And I'm pretty sure that's spot on. Yep.
Spot on.
Yeah, good job. I mean, that defense is number 1 in the league. And Aaron Donald, another phenomenal season.
Who would have thought that a backup quarterback would have taken them in the playoffs?
Yeah, John Wolford. And he's out this week. Neck injury, so yeah.
Minnesota Vikings.
Wow, 12-4. I mean, their offense was really good. Dalvin Cook had a great season. Justin Jefferson really did show up as a replacement of Diggs, but I guess their defense didn't show up.
No, I don't remember if I made this prediction before we knew that Stephon Diggs would have left the Vikings.
I don't remember either, but Justin Jefferson is like a mini Diggs, really. He really did have a great season.
Houston Texans.
This record to me, to the Texans, is a shocker. They had, like, Deshaun Watson had another amazing season. It might actually be one of his best seasons, but I don't know what happened. 4-12. I mean, with Bill O'Brien trading away DeAndre Hopkins, I guess and Will Fuller going out mid-season. I don't know what happened.
Their team happened.
Yeah.
They don't have a very good team anymore. Everyone's going. Everyone's leaving. Everyone wants out of that organization.
I do feel bad for Deshaun Watson. I mean, I can see why he wants to leave.
I think he'll have better future in any other place.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills.
I'm assuming with this record, you didn't know Diggs was going there.
Yeah, probably. Pretty much
Diggs,
spot on.
Yeah, I think it is. No, you're 1 game off. Yeah, but Diggs, phenomenal year. Josh Allen, who would have expected that?
Yeah.
Great season.
I mean, out of the 2018 draft quarterbacks between Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson, I think that Josh Allen had the best season out of all of them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Number 7, the Seattle Seahawks.
And no, you were 1 game off, 12-4. But at the end of the season, I feel like Russell Wilson wasn't doing as good.
No. In the beginning of the season, we thought that Russell Wilson could have been the player of the year. I mean, he could have been MVP, and something happened. New England Patriots.
I think you're 1 game off. Yeah, 7-9.
From a Steelers perspective, this is great to see. That the Patriots are 8-8 or 7-9.
7-9. Yeah.
Great.
I think they also need to draft someone. Cam Newton is not the guy to lead them.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow, spot on. That's actually very surprising.
I was surprised with the Raiders' loss.
Yeah, I was too. I mean, honestly, they could have gone 15-1, but they obviously benched their whole team that last game.
And that's why you can never, even if you're the best team in the NFL, you cannot let in-division games slide. Even if it's
you can't.
Your division, they still have a chance to beat you.
Totally.
San Francisco 49ers.
What happened? So many injuries at the beginning of the year. They lost Mostert multiple times. Nick Bosa, Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle. I mean, I bet you they would have gotten 12-4, but they had too many injuries.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Coming down to the final three, New Orleans Saints.
New Orleans Saints, I think, they went 12-4, one off. I mean, this is probably Drew Brees' last year. Michael Thomas is out most of the year.
Taysom Hill is gonna replace Drew Brees.
Yeah, I think they said they're gonna have Jameis Winston replace him, and then Taysom Hill as still the Swiss Army knife. But
I think Taysom Hill is better than Jameis Winston.
I totally agree with you there. Yeah, and they didn't have Michael Thomas the whole year, but Alvin Kamara had a great season.
Yeah. Number 2, Green Bay Packers.
They went 13-3, almost, very close.
Same season as before.
I think Aaron Rodgers will win the MVP this year. I mean, Devontae Adams, monster season. And, yeah, that's just them two really shined this year.
Number 1 team, Baltimore Ravens.
Ravens. I'd say the first half of the season, they didn't look that good. But the last, the last 6 games when they really mattered, they really did show up. And
5-game winning streak.
Yeah, and they're still in the playoffs. I think they play the Bills. That's going to be a very tight game, too.
I mean, we all thought that Lamar Jackson would have had even better season, but downhill from there.
A little bit downhill, yeah, but that defense was still very good.
All right, now let's look at the standings. AFC North, Ravens on top, Steelers, Browns, Bengals.
Okay, so right now it's the Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. So you just flip the Ravens and the Steelers, but pretty good prediction there.
AFC East, Bills, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins.
Oh, okay. You just flip. So it goes Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. So you mixed up a couple.
But I knew that the Bills were going to come on top.
Yeah, for sure.
AFC South, Titans, Texans, Colts, Jaguars. Just flip the Colts and Texans.
Yeah, no one would have known the Texans would do this bad.
Yep. And last, AFC West, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers.
I think Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers are all flipped.
Yep. All right, moving on to the NFC. NFC North, Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions.
I think you mixed up Bears and Vikings, yeah.
Yep. NFC East, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, Redskins.
This is a very unpredictable. The NFC East just didn't do good at all this year. So I don't think you got any of them right. Yeah, you didn't get any of them right.
No. NFC South, Saints, Buccaneers, Falcons, Panthers.
You swap Falcons and Panthers, yeah.
And then lastly, NFC West, 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals.
Yeah, you didn't get any of them right.
Now let's look at the playoff prediction. So, I know it's already finished, but what do you think about the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl this year?
I definitely think they have a chance, but just like the other teams, Packers have a chance, Buccaneers have a chance, Saints definitely have a chance. I feel like the Bills also have a very high chance. They've been playing very good.
Yeah, I think that the Bills could take down the Chiefs.
I think so too. I mean, although they lost in the regular season, I still think we've seen shockers like the Browns beating the Steelers. We've seen many shockers this year, so anything can happen.
So although this is a completed bracket, I think there's a lot up for grabs in the NFL right now.
A lot, yes.
All right, and that's it for the record predictions.
Very, very pretty good. Pretty good. You didn't make that many mind blowers, but yeah, pretty good predictions.
And that's about it for today.
Yep. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.